when someone shows up, then I can.
Yeah.
On Facebook now.
Yeah,
now?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
people are logged in, so
Well,
go for
welcome. My name is Michelle Walker, and I am part of the Rife Gallery Ohio Plein Air Society show. And it's a wonderful show. If you want to see bits and pieces of Ohio, it's just fantastic. The artists that are here. Typically, I'm an oil painter. I've been dabbling in acrylics. But right now, I'm going to show you something a little bit more fun and spontaneous. I do watercolor sketch. And what I like about this, when I do an oil painting, it's all about a finished painting. When I do watercolor sketches, it's all about experiencing the place I'm at. Plus, when I'm traveling with my family, my daughters or my husband, it's a lot easier to carry this and not as time consuming. So they seem to be a little bit more, if mom wants to sit and paint, they're willing to sit with me for about 45 minutes at the most. So they're just quick sketches. I'm going to grab a couple of things. So when I paint on location, and you go to these wonderful places, I traveled a lot in 2016 because my daughters were moving out west. So I got to go to Boulder and Nevada. I've never traveled across America before, and it was just, you have to do it. You just gotta do it. It's so, the minute one state line stops and another one changes, there's this transition of scenery that it's like, oh, okay, I know why they put the border there. So I have this little tiny sketchbook, and when I would go around, this is a palette that I took with me, and this is all I needed, and a brush and some water. And like I said, it was never about what I was painting. It was about sitting in the place. I found out I can't paint waves. I live in the Midwest, and I don't know waves, and I know cows, but I don't know waves. So it was fun putting them on and taking them off, and I was able to get my daughter to sit for 10 minutes.
My daughters or my husband.
That's all right.
Am I okay?
Yeah, you're good.
And even staying in restaurants, and looking out the windows. There's so many beautiful things that you can find and places that you can be. And it's not about the finished piece. It's about just spending that moment, time. And even as I look through these, I'm in those locations again.
I don't know.
You can't get that when you're,
Yeah, I know.
when you take a photo, you snap, you walk. But when you sit, you own that place, that moment. A lot of times when you're faced with a big piece of white paper and you go into this thing of, gosh, I gotta make this perfect painting. But you don't have to do that. It's all about you, your hand, sitting there and just interpreting what you see. And they have these crazy jackrabbits in Nevada. They're huge. They're like a dog with pointy ears. So it made you question what a rabbit was,
Yeah.
Okay. So my friend went to Wales. She just got back from Wales, and this was her favorite location, was Tempe. The thing about it is the color. And like I said, when you take a photograph, you don't see color as well as when you're in the location. And that's all. So the way I start, I sit and look and experience what I'm looking at. Time of day, the waves, the sounds, birds, whatever's out there. And something like this can be a bit overwhelming. So what I do is I just start finding my place on the page. And I'm not really concerned about making perfect lines, because this is about time and the space of being there.
Yeah. I can pick it up and move it.
So moving into the light right now. My thought about drawing is if you can draw your name, if you write your name, you can draw.
I hope that's true. I'm gonna take some drawing classes.
It doesn't work for singing.
That's true.
It does work for drawing. And it's about learning how to love what you do and where you're at. I took piano lessons when I was 35. And the best thing I did for myself when I started is I'm going to love every moment of this. From the first day I put my fingers on there, I'm just going to love it. So the first song I could play, I played for my husband. I go, oh, what's that? And he goes, I don't know. I go, it's Hokey Pokey. But it felt good. And I didn't care. They didn't know. So the interesting thing about this Tembi is not only the color, but also, do you see this line right here? This transition between the buildings and the light? Those would be fun, maybe to put in after. And then these little roof tops, these little angles. And then I'm just checking relationships of one building to another. And this area is dark. And look at those little boats right here. So cute. So I'm just going to put 2 little boats in there. In the water. The reflections are really beautiful. This little blue house is So the way of painting with watercolor is not your traditional way of painting with watercolors. There's a lot of rules that go with the watercolors as far as how you paint, what paper, weight, and all that. But when I'm out there painting, I don't have a lot of time to wait. So I don't worry about all those rules. But yeah, just a little bit of yellow into a painting. Bring some life into it. And these lines that I'm covering or showing, letting them show, it's part of what happened. It's part of an event. I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm trying to get some color in here. That sounds looking silly. Bob Ross has happy trees, I have happy accidents. I tend to be a little bit tentative when I paint. I want to be bolder. I guess it's okay. Either way. Maybe the next one I'll be still going. when I make a whole sky blue, it makes the painting look gray. So leaving some white in the sky is actually prettier. Let's get some more going. like how it's kind of watery
Very beautiful, yeah.
because it's by the ocean. So what I do from here is I take, oh, okay, sorry. What I typically do now is I take a black pen and start playing in it, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that. A bit weird. Will do. I think I just let my brush play a little bit. I'm just defining some areas with the brush on these wet places, and I'm not sure what's going to happen, so we'll see. I'm kind of excited about it right now, so let's go with it. It's a little too wet. And they may just bleed out and be gone, but that's alright. They were there at one point, right? Can you hear me?
You might want to speak up just a little bit more. Yeah, thank you. There is a mic on here, but
Got it.
yeah, in the gallery.
I mumble a lot. I don't.
Well, you probably don't usually have a camera on you when you're painting
No, I don't.
with a microphone.
But I still mumble. You talk to yourself a lot, you know, especially. Alright. So I'm just pulling these little areas. Remember when I said there's these little chimneys up here? I'm just gonna slip them in there where they want to be. Just redefining some of these shapes. just look at it and then ask myself, do I have enough information in it that I feel like I can go back to this place when I look at it? Maybe just a couple more definitions. There's all those windows. I'm not worried about getting every line perfect, every window perfect. I'm just an indication that they exist. And if I get any UFOs in there, I just put a couple lines and then bring them back. Okay, that's 10B.
Painting number 1.
Paint number 1. Let's go for another one.
Thank you. Great.
I put the I always put where I'm at, but I don't know how to spell 10B, so I'll put white else. And you want to put the date and the time that you were there. Okay, so let's go with something a little bit more. I'll do this one a little bit differently. Okay, this is the Big Four Bridge in Sydney, Ohio. The reason motorcycles in there is because my husband has a friend that wanted a painting with his motorcycle with the Big Four Bridge. So it's a big motorcycle, and he's Japanese and small guy, and I was having him take pictures from I was in Indiana while he was moving that thing around. I'm like, no, move it back into the shadow, bring it over this way, turn it this way. It was, but I had painted this on location in oil painting. So I'm familiar with the scene. I've been playing with it. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it. Not in pencil this time. I'm going to use a marker. Now, when you use a marker, you instantly are committed to the drawing because you can't erase it. And the way I do this with my sketchbook, can you see? Okay, what I do is I get in front of the place, and then I just drop some verticals where things are happening. So the trees come straight down here, that bridge, I don't know, is an embankment, that column is right here. Then I go, so once I get my horizontals, and I close one eye, and I drop it, and then I go left and right. And this one, it's a little bit of a difficult scene. So just doing that, it gives me where my horizontals, where one thing relates to another, basically, is what I'm trying to say is that. So once I get those where does the road go out? It goes out about right there. Okay, about right here. Okay. And then from here, I start drawing. And like I said, if you can't draw, don't worry about it. Just let your hand find what you see. It's a little wonky. It's actually more interesting. Okay. Trees are easy. It's just a gestural. You just walk around the tree, give it a gestural line. This space is too wide, so I think. And then here's that shadow underneath the bridge. And then just these distant trees back here. When you work small, it goes a lot faster. I like working small. But where you just see it, it's important. Plus, you can hide your mistakes. Okay.
Michelle, what kind of pen are you using?
It's a Sharpie,
Okay. Blue?
blue. They have a wonderful pack. It's like 20 different colors. I find with watercolor, if you paint or if you draw with a colored pencil, if you draw with color, they tend to be more colorful for me. It seems when you use black and white, I don't know, it takes away the color. Okay, we'll just slip that in there. I don't know if he'll actually live in it or not, but things like street signs are important because then you can actually write the name of the place that you're in. It's Children's Home Road. It's an orphanage. Used to be up there. The fun thing about painting, people stop. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are, they're going to say it's cool. They'll be excited about it. I put some brush strokes on a canvas one time and someone's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I'm like, I've not done nothing. But then I realized it was cool because I was there painting. And it was more the experience and it was fun. But you meet some really interesting people. All plein air artists have stories. Encounters. There. Hmm. I did not put the telephone poles in my painting, so let's see what happens. This shows humanity exists. There. Okay, let's throw some color on it. Now with this type, whenever I do this type of painting, I think of it more of a color book. I have this paper so I could test my colors. So when you do watercolors, if you just try some different colors combinations, and then you get to know your tools. Okay. So there's some pretty. I'm going to start with the yellows again. It's a fall scene, so. Another colorful painting. testing the paper to see if it's wet, because wet paint will go into wet water. But if I leave a dry spot between the two colors, then it won't. Then if I want a sharp line, like crisp line like this, then I can get that. Green is not my favorite color to paint.
Why is that?
I can't see it.
Can't see it? I don't-
There's so many subtle changes, and trying to find it and not be too bright. That is a challenge. I was in Boulder painting red rocks, and it was awful. The Boulder painters were painting, they were just really these rich, warm, natural-looking reds. Mine looked like an apple. It was awful. It's horrible. It really matters where you're living, you know, if you experience it. When I learned how to see as an artist, my whole world changed. I would be going home and getting lost and not a clue where I was at. My world was 2D before that. But when I understood color and atmosphere and things up close or brighter and things at further distance, when that clicked for me, my whole world just changed. Chroma, bright to gray. It can really, it has a, yeah. Okay. problem with doing motorcycles on site is they move. Right when you about have it, yeah, it disappears. And then you're like, yeah. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna put a little color. I'm putting a little color on the bridge. I don't know. Okay, back here. Oh, I need to find this edge. Okay. And then I think I'm just about done with this one. Got some lucky color here. Okay, I'm going to turn this into a motorcycle now. So the original motorcycle he got was gold. But then he bought a cooler motorcycle and it's blue. So my husband said, "Can you make it a blue motorcycle?" Like, all right. I prefer the gold in the painting. It just, but there's something about the color. I don't know. Okay, this is becoming about the motorcycle, not the bridge. I think that's good. would make that bridge pop out more. So. Really bright yellow. Green.
TV has different colors on it. Your actual painting.
It's not as pretty as it.
No, your painting, it doesn't do it justice.
Did you hear that? You should be here in person. You can see this beautiful painting.
It's just too much brightness. It changes as the light changes. Oh, that's better.
That's cool. How's that? No, that's the wrong color there, isn't it? Yeah, that's better. Okay. I think that's good for that one. Yeah.
That last little bit really made it pop. Amazing.
Yeah, the way color. See, this doesn't look orange on the screen, does it?
Not on TV, but it's very orange.
Let's see. Do I dare do this? All right, let's do it. Oh yeah, look at that. One thing about this, it's making me a bolder painter. There we go. Okay, I better stop. Learn to walk away.
You always use the same brush.
Actually, I don't use this brush at all. I found it in my stuff, and it looked like it would be a fun brush because it's a bigger paper, so I need a bigger brush. Typically, the brush that you want to see what I usually use. It's really cool. It's a really fun. You feel like an artist when you pull this out, right?
Oh, it's one of those. Okay, I've seen this before.
The only disappointment was the wire. We had to replace it because of the water. It corroded, but that's all right. What time is it? Like,
It's 12:17.
oh, we have enough time for another one.
I noticed your other paintings are all oils. Do you prefer oil or water?
Oil. I'm an oil painter. But I do this type painting when I go on traveling. And then I can. Did you see this? You can see this. So when I travel with my family, they
Your sketchbook.
Yeah.
Oh, these are great.
With oil paintings, they take, you're committed 2 to 4 hours in just carrying things. And when there's so much equipment that goes with it, where with the watercolor, all you really need, and they always make these fancy little palettes, and every one of them, you have to have one. I have like 3 different, when I travel, I don't take this with me. I take this. I mean, how cool is this, right?
I know, they're great.
Are you an artist?
I do urban sketching
Oh, do you? So you?
with the urban sketchers.
Yeah. I want to do that, but I live in Wapakoneta, so.
Well, there's an inactive chapter up in Cleveland, but that's not close to you either.
The I think I would love to do that.
Well, this is it right here.
Which one?
Your sketchbook. Your
Oh,
whole sketchbook.
yeah.
Urban sketching.
Yeah.
These are wonderful.
That was. And then when I was doing that at first, you're like, I don't know if this is gonna be good or not. And then you get to the point, it's like it doesn't matter if it's good or not. And then when you're done with it as a body of work, it's awesome.
No, they're great.
That's the way you think as an artist, right? So what's your medium? What do you use?
Well, I start with pencil, and then I use ink, and then I erase the pencil, and then I watercolor. Because I cheat.
You can cheat.
I know. You can do whatever you
Do
want.
whatever you want. It doesn't matter. What I want to try with that is to have not have it all the same. Have it different. So
Anybody else want to look at these?
they sound good up here.
I have one portable thing. I have an investment lamp. What color did you use for your sky on the bridge, behind the bridge?
Using this one.
Do you know what color it is by? I'm so glad you don't, because I always feel people throw out colors of pigments, and I feel like I should know all these colors, and I really.
It's not ultramarine. It could be cerulean, but it might be cobalt.
Okay.
But the ultramarine is so purple. And that usually doesn't happen until you get up here, right?
Uh-huh.
But if I put it down here, it gets real gray on me. So this one right here is what I use for the sky. And then if I just leave a little bit of the cloud white show through, it's a little bit more interesting. I think it's done.
Well, that's what is hard about watercolor, is leaving the white.
Laying the white show. Negative painting. If you can I love implying things by negative painting. So there's a little bridge here. So if you just move your brush through it and do bridge thoughts, as you're painting, you get a bridge. And little tree, the bottom of the trees, just these little doodads.
That has such a nice point on it, that brush.
It's a do you see it? It's one of those Japanese bushes.
It is. It looks like it holds the paint really well.
It does. And then I have this.
Is that ink?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Brush pen? So I get really nervous when I use this, like I might overdo it.
Oh, you can't overdo it. If you do, you just add more. See, children's home.
Is that a water-based pen or not?
I don't know. I think it's not. Because, if you do that and then do that. A little bit. Because, oh dear. Now I'm caught. I'll just do this and let it go. It's fine. We're afraid of destroying something to the point where we don't do something, And then if you just do something and not worry about destroying it, sometimes you come up with something cool. I think that needed that. And, okay. So my secret is, if I don't like a painting, I use black line on it. Okay, so you can tell the paintings I don't like because it's covered with black lines. But then when people see them, they love the black line. So there's something about it that gestural
I-
that brings it in, and so and sometimes it just gives it a little bit of an anchor to it.
I'm glad you said that because I tend to like the ink with my watercolor. And even though it doesn't have as realistic look, it makes it pop. I have trouble getting enough contrast
I do
in
too.
colors.
I do too. I tend to be timid. One of my this I was in Vancouver, and I mean, look at that. That's
Okay.
and see how timid the color is. But when I was out there, I thought, wow, I'm using these bright colors, but they're not. They're not bright. So, I mean, I think
Is that why you like oil better?
Um, I mean, when I first started painting, I painted with watercolor, and the problem I was having, I felt like I was controlling things too much. You know, like and being so careful and everything's tight. Where with oil painting, I can be more expressive. It's easier to express. So, I think. Like if I were going to sit and do a studio, you know the difference. When you sit down and do a studio painting of a watercolor, then there's just too many rules, and I don't know. Oil painting's a challenge. Sometimes the challenge is more fun, right?
I haven't tried that yet.
What, oil?
Oil. Just because I haven't tried it. I've only been doing this for a couple years.
Oh. You have a lot to learn. That's good. I did something weird here. So I'm not sure what that is, so I'll just add more to it. There. It's done. Okay. So what time are we at? Do we have-
You're at 12:45, you got lots of time.
Oh, perfect. Alright. So you don't have to paint with color. You can paint with just a single color, a monochromatic. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll go back to Sydney, Ohio.
You got enough room?
Did you take those photographs?
Yeah. This huge cloud came by. So then I had to stand there for about 10 minutes for it to move because it's not as interesting
Right.
when it doesn't have light on it. So, let's see. I started a quick drawing on it. I mean, this little cart right here is so fun. And the stripes and the pumpkins.
Do you tend to start with the front and move back, or back and move front, or all over?
I'm all over the place. Actually, when I start drawing this, I started up here. Like, do you see that quick sketch that I have? I was up in the sky. So, I guess where that point between the sky and the land, or the buildings, and you could do like a blind contour type drawing and look at the relationship of that to the tree. And then let's see. And then perspective's pretty important, but you can get caught up in perspective to the point where you're not even having fun anymore, you know?
Yes.
You can relate.
Well, that's what urban sketching's a lot of it is about,
You're in the city.
is perspective. Right.
What I find is if you make the angles a little bit more extreme, like this roof line right here, it's something else I've found. Clouds. They don't just float straight in front of you. They do this and they do this, and so I'm been really excited about getting out and doing some. I take a lot of pictures of clouds. And I do something really bad. You're not supposed to do this. I shouldn't even say it.
What?
But when I'm driving, I'll picture
Okay.
the way the road's coming at you and those lines
Yeah.
and the semis and those big rectangles.
Oh, okay, now it's getting dangerous.
Can't say that I've done anything that brave.
No, but I pull over and I take pictures.
Michelle, do you teach any drawing classes?
Yes, actually I do.
Same cap?
I teach at Capital University.
Oh.
We're doing a painting drawing class right now, but one of my favorite classes is teaching the non-fine art group
Yeah.
because I'm teaching potential art buyers,
Ah,
you know,
okay.
and gallery visitors and people
Yeah.
that love art and didn't know that they loved art. So that's how I view them, and they will do anything. If I ask them to do something, they're like, okay. They're so open. It's exciting to see what they produce.
Do you live in Columbus?
No.
So you come down here to teach?
Uh-huh.
How
It's
often?
it's twice a week. 2 times a week. It gets a bit long. It's an 1.5-hour drive for me. But I love the atmosphere. I love being around the youth. They're just I mean, have you ever been to Botkins, Ohio?
No.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Botkins.
Watkins.
We live close to Wapak, but we're actually in Botkins, and we have a cornfield to the left of us, and there isn't much. We have a nice art community in Sydney, Ohio, but in our area, I don't. So it's nice to be a part of Columbus, and there's a very thriving art community here. So I do paint with a figure painting group,
Huh? Which one?
John Daniels. He belongs to the Ohio Plein Art Society also. Okay. I think I have a little bit of a problem here. My cart's too small, but you know what? That's all right. For the sake of what I'm doing. Okay, and then there's these 2 lines are great right here. Yeah. And then this, like that. Traffic lights are huge. Okay, and then that sign. You always want to put signs in there. It identifies where you're at. And then the arrows are nice. Oh, and that east-west. And pumpkins here. Okay. So I'm going to do this in monochromatic, just real quick. actually, in my own studio, I prefer drawing. I love to draw. I've been making vine charcoal drawings of my dad and trying to get his expressions. That's been a joy to do that. So this, I'm just going to paint all of the shadow sides of the building. I'll carve them in there. That's right. Okay. So. So I'm painting the negative spaces.
Thank you.
Okay. Feel goes right here. And the shadow goes right. I like painting structures.
So do I.
Do you?
They don't move.
This is true. But the light on them is difficult. Chasing the light's hard.
I love that brush.
Do you want to try it?
No, it's okay. I need to find a brush with more point because you're using the side of it and you're also using the tip, and I like the way it's so versatile.
It's really bouncy, isn't it? Okay, shadow. Yeah, you can draw with it.
I have a friend who does Japanese painting.
Oh. It's so beautiful. Okay. Let's get some of this. I have to get some color up in the sky. My colors are a bit muggy right now. Oh, the sky's lighter. That's kind of cool, isn't it? you need to have an understanding of value and legends.
Mhm.
So the ground. there people out there?
Yeah.
This is
When you paint with one color, it takes away a lot of the other complications. Sometimes you'll do something, you'll hate it. And then what happens? Then you'll get away from it. Or a friend will see it and they'll say, wow, that's cool. What? And then it just changes your whole perspective on it. So it's really important when you go paint and when you're painting and you hit this like dead spot, you know, where you're this like it's not doing what I want it to do and you're this rustling thing, you just have to relax and push through it. I mean, I think that's probably with life too, right?
Yeah.
You know?
It just sounds like solid advice.
Yeah, it's really easy to connect art, making art to life. And the most beautiful things are the things that just happen. When you let the control go. And you get good crazy with detail. That's not always a good thing, but.
Michelle, I have 12:55, just FYI.
Oh. I'm almost released. So
And you said 3 paintings, and my God.
I did it.
Yeah, 3 paintings.
I got it.
When Michelle called yesterday and said, so I'm thinking of doing multiple works, and I thought, okay, well, you obviously know what you can do, so if you think you can, go for it. Because everybody else had just done one.
They're quick sketches.
Oh.
Any questions?
No, I love the way you did that.
Did
And
the
just made it keep, it just kept coming out.
Yeah,
more,
yeah, right.
Evolving. Very nice.
And it's,
It,
you just paint the shadow side.
your ability to not put everything in is what I admire, because I get bogged down. And
Yeah,
you
we
said
still
in the
see it.
details. It's like I see all these little things, and because I'm painting it, I observe and I start seeing everything.
So what I say is you don't want to put the sprinkles on the cupcake before the cupcake's made.
Mm.
That's a good.
But we all want to go to the details. And it's easier for me to sit here and look at a photo and to block it out. When you're out there, you've got this in front of you, and then you're like trying to do this, and then the wind's blowing, and
The light
then
changes.
the light's moving, and then you start panicking because you're trying to hold it together. So, but that's a fun challenge of it. And then they have quick draws where people go out in like an hour and do a complete finished painting. So it's plein air painting has become very family issues. I didn't feel I could be. When,
Well, I think it's a wrap.
are we done?
Yeah, I think, thank you so very much.
Thank you for being so attentive. Do you want to try?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
It's here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why